third GA, so people bear with me. Steve Martin, who's been part of who facilitated the last second GA on December 19th, is going to co-facilitate. He's also a member of the committee. I'm a member of the Communications Committee. And I'd just like to start with, traditionally we've been talking about how we are in Peterborough and recognizing that we are on Anishinaabe traditional land, recognizing the diverse groups within Occupy Peterborough and how Occupy Peterborough is starting to act as a conduit for bringing people together. I know everybody here has a different cause or group that they've really been putting their energy and passion into, and so keeping those lenses, keeping aware of those lenses and how you bring them here, which is cool. Announcements. Does anyone have an announcement they want to bring forward on things going on with Occupy-related stuff?
Does announcements, or do announcements include reports?
Sir, yes. So I guess the way if people are okay with this, the way I like to structure it is we'll do Occupy-related announcements, and then we'll have committees and individuals put forward proposals they want to bring forward. And then we'll go into those proposals in more depth and come up with temperature checks and consensus. Does that sound right? All right. Well, okay. Do you have an announcement?
So it does.
Does it fall into your proposal?
It's the Direct Action Committee.
Okay. Would it be like tied into your proposal?
Yes.
Okay. Well, oh yeah. So, well, I have an announcement from Communications. It has been about a month since last we met, and it's been interesting how, even though we haven't necessarily been reaching out to other occupations, they've started to us. So, a few announcements I just want to make, and just to kind of get people realizing that people are aware of Occupy Peterborough and that we have started to put our roots down in the city. Inter-City Canada, which is a committee based out of Occupy Vancouver, run by Dan Richardson. It's been connecting the cities across Canada, and in dozens of cities across Canada now have occupations that have set root. And they're waiting for us. They meet every Mondays online and have a chat and update about different occupations around Canada and ways to collaborate. And they understand that we're on our third GA, so if we had a camp, this would pretty much be day 2. But they're giving us their support and saying when you have a member who would like to act as a liaison with the rest of Canada, let us know. So that was cool. Second, Inter-Occupy, which was based out of Occupy Philadelphia, has contacted us. And they said pretty much the same thing. When you want to start collaborating, connecting with the other occupations across North America and the other 900 cities around the world, let us know. So they're waiting to hear back from us, which is pretty cool. Anybody else have any announcements they want to bring forward? Okay, let's talk about proposals then. Communications Committee has a proposal. DA, do you want to talk about yours?
Yes, thank you. And it's probably a good idea we don't use the human microphone
yes.
for longer reports and stuff like that. So thank you for starting that way. Yeah, there is a direct action group that I've at the outset, I'm chairing, okay, and we met about 10 days ago, and what we came up with, and there should be copies today, but they're not here, so bear with me, but these were principles and values for direct action. In other words, whenever we propose a direct action, they would follow a set amount of principles so that we keep within bounds. So we're actually asking for input from you today regarding them. So I will go over them with you. There's 8 of them. Okay. The first one is we maintain our central messaging at every action. In other words, there's something we always say. Every action, even though each individual action will bring out a different issue with different messages, but there'll be that central messaging. So obviously we'll have to get together in the meantime to exactly what it is. Obviously income inequality and rich-poor gap and stuff like that. Lack of democracy will always be out there front and center, everywhere we go. Okay, and the second one is our messaging and our actions will, as often as possible, will be positive. Okay, we're always trying to put a positive frame, like our better world and so on. One of the reasons for that is we don't want the people, like we are recommending that we go to places, oh good, Paul, you've got copies of that?
Yes, I do, sorry.
Hand them, okay, can we take a quick recess for Paul to hand out copies? I'm staggering my way through that.
Maybe we can open the circle up and look at
Oh, yeah, it's
Oh yes,
take a brief recess to hand these out, and
No,
Sorry, I thought you, okay, you got it.
during this recess, I'd like to introduce the hand signals as well. Forgot to do that. As this is an open general assembly, one of the big pieces of it is giving everybody an opportunity to talk uninterrupted. And so part of this is silent communication amongst groups so you can get a feeling of consensus. So so I'll just quickly run through the hand signals for people to refresh. One of them is I'm in agreement with this or I support this. Is two hands in the air and twinkling your fingers, as they call it. Something where you're on your borderline or you're on the edge or you're not quite certain is in front of you. And something that you disagree with is hand signal waving down. So these are the three kind of levels. There's also a more powerful symbol, which is a block symbol. And this means you feel that this proposal or this action completely contradicts the foundation and the point of the Occupy movement. So it's a very powerful symbol, and it kind of stops the conversation and we have to discuss why you feel that this completely goes against everything that we stand for. So use it wisely and with compassion. There's also a few other symbols while somebody's discussing something. If you have a point of information which you think will add to the conversation, it's an I. I have a point of information. If you have a question about something, you feel like something's not entirely clear, it's a C, so a point of clarification. There's also a point of process, which is a less used symbol. But for example, when I was going through the announcement, introduce proposals list, if you thought there was a better way to do it, or a better way to do the process, then it's a point of process. And then lastly, another symbol which is also should be used very gently is the move it along symbol. Or, we have a 2-hour kind of time constraint, so another hour and 45 minutes. So, we want to stay on track, feel the point's been made. Let's continue with the discussion. Any questions about those? Any points of clarification?
point of information. Don't forget the don't point that camera at me gesture.
Oh, and the don't point that camera at me gesture, which is just put your hands over your face. Brian has a camera, he's been recording the GAs. If you do that, Brian will cut you out of it and make sure not to point the camera at you. All right? So, any more points of information? All right, let's bring it back to introducing your direct action people.
Thank you, Joe. The people who just arrived, the direct action group met about 10 days ago, and we came up with 8 principles and values that would direct our direct action. And we eventually be asking for your approval. But in the meantime, probably your input. Anyway, I have covered number 1 and 2 already. Okay, regarding the central messaging every time, plus whatever individual messaging there would be. And secondly, positive messaging as often as we can. Because we wanted the people to, if they're not to be angry at us because we show up when they don't want us to be, but they're angry at the system that we keep bringing up. That's what we want. We want them to direct their anger at the right place, not necessarily. Now there'll be times when maybe if we pick our places strategically in enemy outposts, that they will be angry at us, and that's quite acceptable. But generally, our messaging is positive. That's all. Yes?
So just a quick point of process. For this phase, let's stick with possibly introducing it, and then we can go over the points during the proposal phase. Okay, how do people feel about that?
So would I be able to make the statement and then quick back up?
Yeah, read the statements.
Not as verbose as I was a few seconds ago. Okay. Okay, the third one, where we're supporting. A lot of our work will be in the support of other groups and individual causes. We don't want to co-opt them, but obviously February 1st, we'll discuss later. We're not running it, but we'll certainly be there to help. 4, accessibility is more than just ease for people with any kind of handicap. Some actions can possibly be uncomfortable for people, perhaps particularly if there's a safety issue, or they may feel that they can't go to a certain place because they're acquainted with people there and so on. We just have to make sure that we make them as comfortable as possible, that they are able to participate. Okay, we've just got to keep that in mind. I guess the logistics group would probably look after that. 5, this is the old term, the diversity of tactics, and if the tactics are not ours, but are done elsewhere, we are in support, and we would include as many types of tactics as possible, trying to borrow from other places, but be distinctly Peterborough whenever possible. Okay, the 6th one, our banner, beautiful banner, you saw it down at Moral Park. We take that everywhere, okay? And we really emphasize the use of visuals, all kinds, because people don't always listen, but they do see, okay? So we always have visuals, and if we've got some terrific artistic people here, that's great. And include that with that education and handouts. The 7th, most of the time our content will be local, and our issues will be local. We want to give it that Peterborough flavor, which is one of the reasons we started this. But we also have to show our solidarity with what's going on elsewhere. So we may be in support of issues, concerns from elsewhere. And the last one, number 8, a lot of our actions will be smaller scale. But at the same time, we may actually want to go take our message somewhere else. For example, on February the 14th, there's a strong Aboriginal protest on Parliament Hill. People are talking about it already. Why wouldn't Occupy Peterborough be there? Okay, so those are the 8, and where the group would like to go next is just to ask that, through Joel, whether we will receive comments and recommendations today, or in the meantime, what the direct action group will meet shortly to make this complete and acceptable. Right now, I just want to very quickly introduce some potential actions that we threw around. Okay, I'll just list them. Okay, ones that we could do reasonably soon would be at PCBS, in support of saving PCBS school. We would provide support for them. Some noon hour when they're outside. There's an education rally uptown on February the 1st regarding you want to comment on that, or?
Maria and Lindsay will.
Yeah. Okay, good. That'll come up. We're certainly in favor of that. Also, and this would be a bit of support. And some of our work would be mild. Okay, it's not all tearing down barricades. But Trent, Nadine, Professor Nadine is holding something at Trent at the very same time as the rally is uptown. And when her second correspondence with me, she said that she has to do it then. We could be there, not occupying necessarily, but letting everybody know what Occupy is.
For clarification, Outreach has got the message as well, and they started talking about it. So they'll have more to say about that as well.
Sure. Cool. Great. Okay.